Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Even Lease, and today on 10 Minutes or Less Ship Review, I'm going to be taking a look at the F7C-M Super Hornet. Let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with this ship, I have a really annoying sound bug with refueling, so I'm going to go ahead and disable the in-game sound right about now. Now that the sound's muted, we can go ahead and take a look at this thing. The ship has a lot of firepower, while not the strongest firepower, and at its price range, could be better, but it's actually not bad. You have a total of 6 guns on this thing, with 2 being on that top turret, 2 being on the front nose turret here, and then 1 on each wing, the top 2 being the CF227 Badgers, which are size 2, and then these front ones here are the size 1 CF117 Bulldogs, and then on the wings you also have the size 2 Scorpion GT215s. This thing can put out quite a bit of firepower. I wouldn't say it's the strongest ship though for a medium fighter, and at its price range you would expect maybe a bit more. I don't discuss upgrades, but I will say if you're going to upgrade a ship, this ship would probably be one needing it fast in the shield department, and you could probably do something with a lot of these weapons. Now these weapons are gimbaled, so that's nice. And once again, I'm just reviewing these ships stock. So as it comes stock at its price point, and this being one of many variants of the Hornet class ship, it's not terrible. It has more weapons than most of them, if not all of the currently released Hornet series of ships. I still have to go through all of them, and I probably will do like a variance video kind of showing you each one and their pros and cons. This one feels like it's missing quite a bit, honestly, but it's not bad. You can control all these weapons via the pilot seat. You don't need the co-pilot, and you heard me right there. There are 2 seats on this ship, but the co-pilot doesn't do much. Well, at least you really don't want him to, right? As the pilot, it's best when you have control of all of your weapons in a fighter like this. That's not to say that other ships where you don't have control are punished by that, but they kind of are. Could you imagine a Scorpion, or a Scorpius, not Scorpion, a Scorpius with all pilot-controlled weapons? Because that day will come sooner or later. But as of right now, you need a co-pilot for the turret gun, which, you know, it's like, oh man, that's a big bummer. This ship, you don't need that. It's a bit cheaper, too. But when it comes down to a ship needing a rework or a gold standard pass or whatnot, this is definitely a ship that needs it. It doesn't have any accessible components that I've found, and really the only way to access anything is through here. So pilot, co-pilot, open ladder, open storage, that's about it. There is nowhere else, if you look around this ship, that you can access anything. You have nothing. And you got this massively ugly gaping hole in the center here, which when it's on the ground, it almost makes it look like a grasshopper, or yeah, I'd say a grasshopper. It really does. It's not the best looking Anvil ship, and there's some pretty good looking ones out there. But I mean, it does its job as a medium fighter, and if that's what you're looking for, you can definitely find home here. It's fast, and what I've seen, it is maneuverable. Like I said, I would look into certain upgrades, but it's not really needed if you're not really focusing on player combat. This is a great ship for PvE. One of the negative effects of the Scorpion GT215s here is that it's got a very small amount of ammo. You are going to expend all this ammo before you do any real damage to any ships that you are attacking, and you will have to rearm that quick. So it might be better to drop those for something else. The laser repeaters on top and bottom, they are good. They hit fine. No problems there, but they do have a small capacitor. So while you are shooting those guns, you always have to be very wary of how much juice you have left in them before you need to disengage and let them reload or recharge. So with that in mind, this ship feels like a hit and run ship, in my opinion. You're going to hit, you're going to run, you're going to hit, you're going to run. And that's kind of the gameplay that you have currently with this. It really needs something. I feel like it's missing something. There are a lot of fighters out there in the small to medium size, even the heavy fighter class, that out-punch this thing at a cheaper or a more expensive price point. Obviously on the more expensive price point, but the cheaper price point is what makes this ship kind of like, why would I pick this over something else? Are you picking this ship over the Anvil tag, or are you picking this ship just because of how cool and retro it looks? I mean, it almost has like a really Star Wars cockpit feel to it. Almost. I feel like it does. I don't know why. It catches my eye like that. But otherwise, just the way it opens up is kind of cool. But there's just not much else to it. It feels like it doesn't truly excel at any one thing. That's not to say it's not a great ship, and if you put a great shield generator in this thing, you could probably do some real damage, but I don't really discuss upgrades. I don't. Not in these videos, but I will say that this ship is probably one that might need them. Let's go ahead and get into the cockpit. You're not going to hear any sounds. Once again, I'm having a fueling bug where I'm just hearing that audio constantly, and it's just super annoying. But as you can see, the cockpit looks nice. It's a nice looking cockpit. It's going to need some updates, obviously. Let's get the systems online here once that shuts. It looks cool. It's going to get a rework. You know it will. A lot of this is going to disappear for a more mechanical setup of buttons. And, yeah. That's it. I mean, you got to enter remote turret. That would be interesting. You do have 6 MFDs in this ship, so that's good. More MFDs, the better. Anvil seems to be pretty good about how many MFDs you get in a ship. And then if you go ahead and turn on the engines, which, give me one moment. Now that I brought the audio back online, you can hear that refueling bug.
Engines online.
It's not a bad sounding ship. Too bad it's being ruined. Let's go ahead and get the gear up. And there you go. Now that we have the sound turned off again, I can go ahead and continue this lovely discussion on this ship here. Like I said, it's got a great amount of maneuverability. It's got some pretty huge thrusters on it, including especially that big thruster in the back. Oh boy. Well, and even with a thruster of that size, it's taking up a lot of space in this ship. So you only have 583 quantum fuel, so you don't have much of a jump range. Your weapons are kind of on the lower end. This ship just feels below average, to be honest. It really does. And that's just too bad, being one of the more expensive Hornet variants, right? I don't know. It's so difficult. The capacitors and ammo just, I mean, 295 rounds in each Scorpion. The capacitors are pretty low. You have 8 size 1 rockets. It just feels underwhelming. Very underwhelming. I honestly, if I were to give this a review compared to other fighters in the class or ships, just overall, how does this ship compare, or how does this ship really stack up? This ship is I mean, honestly, I'm going to sit at a 5 out of 10. It feels empty. It feels like it could be better. And it feels very lacking. Let me know what you think of this ship down in the comments below. If you have it, enjoy it, etc. How have you upgraded this ship to better fit the type of ship it probably should be? What do you think? Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.